Yeah, man, Anvil's a big loss, man, especially for me.
Man, 4 out of the 5 guys. I mean, Brett's the only one of the Hart Foundation left.
Jimmy
you know,
Hart, kind of. I mean, as manager. So, boom, what's up? We're live. Smarkdown Radio. Sad week, man. It's a couple of sad weeks. We've had a couple of sad weeks. We had a lot of passings. Travis, brother Bob, as always, with you today, and Anvil. I mean, and it's really rough. Like, I like LOD, I like Demolition, but my favorite tag teams growing up were Steiners, because we're from Michigan.
Oh yeah.
And Hart Foundation. I loved Brett and Anvil, man. They were where it was at. So
see, now I hated the Hart Foundation, which meant they were doing their job.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know. I'm just apparently I'm just a weirdo. So Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Was he 63? 61? Early
like that. Yeah,
early 60s. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. Apparently, reports are he suffered some sort of seizure and fell down and hit his head and passed away. So thoughts and prayers to all of them. I know we sent it out on Twitter, and that's I mean, there's a lot of tough ones. Another one, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it. You got it, Bob?
Yeah.
There we go. Another tough one. I was listening to King's. He did like a 35-minute podcast talking about Brian and kind of what's going on down there. And I couldn't make it all the way through it. Like, I made it about halfway through it, and I had to shut it off because it's just, man, like, I mean, yeah, it sucks for us as fans, you know. But man, that's his dad, and that's a rough one. And he was talking about the decision to take him off life support and stuff like that, and I had to do that with my mom, you know. And I mean, that was 10 years ago almost, but I had to make that decision with my mom. And that was tough, like listening to it and knowing that there's some shady stuff going on down there. The reports about the 20-some cameras that weren't functioning in the jail, and King kind of alluded to it. He didn't want to. He was very. I don't know how much of this I should put out there because there's an investigation going on, and you know he's got a lawyer involved, his lawyer involved, trying to push for answers, and but they've been contacted by people and apparently other inmates at the jail that have given them some contradictory information that maybe, you know, that was not a suicide, which is, I mean, either way, it's tragic.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, and he's being very realistic about this. He's like, I don't know, you know, I don't want it to seem like this is me just hoping for, you know, wishing for the best or whatever, not wanting to think my son would do this. But he's like, I have some real legitimate questions. I'm not the only one. There are some really sketchy questions that need to be answered about what happened with Brian Lawler. Like, so I hope King gets his answers. I hope, you know, whether we get him or not, if something nefarious did happen, like, I mean, first of all, the jail should be held accountable.
Absolutely.
This is my opinion. Like, what happened, you know, why did he have shoelaces to begin with? You know, it sounded like he had hit rock bottom. Jerry talked about going in and having a conversation with the sheriff and his son, and, you know, Brian was Grandmaster Sexy all the time. That's what that's coming directly from the King. He's a guy who was his persona. What you saw is what you got. He liked to party. It was his third DUI. He was going to face mandatory jail time, not prison time, but jail time. He was going to probably have to do. Jerry said he thinks in Tennessee it's about 90 days.
Okay.
And you know, it looked like Brian. The plan was he was going to do his time and he was going to get into rehab and finally kind of try to, you know, battle some of those demons. And then all of a sudden this happens. But yeah, we're going to have to follow that. So, I mean, God, it's anytime you start a show, like you're losing people that you grew up with and tragedy like this. And it sucks, man.
What's weird is I was watching somebody posting about the old WWE video games from like the late 90s and the WCW ones. And to think like there are so many guys who were like key roster on those games who just aren't with us.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
like
that
Eddie, Benoit, Anvil, Bulldog. I mean, it's just Grandmaster Sexy. I mean, this is a laundry list of the key players during that Attitude Era Monday Night War period.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of. I mean, we've lost a lot of guys, and that's tough. And that the one that you're right, like that picture where they had the picture of the Heart Foundation, like that was floating around, and the only one left in color is Brett.
Yep.
And it's like, God, that sucks. Like that's a tough one. It's, I mean, you got to look at it like at least Anvil was in his 60s and not in his 40s or 50s like some guys. Like it still sucks. At least he made it, into his 60s. He was already having some problems. There was the reports he was battling Alzheimer's and whatnot. So that was already sad on top of it. But like, I mean,
and that's just another like, situation where you look at like a wrestler with brain injuries post wrestling career, and you have to wonder how much of that had to do with, the work.
I mean, I don't know. I don't. You wonder, Anvil wasn't a guy, I don't, he wrestled kind of earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he wasn't taking, like when you look at the ECW guys, or like those 90s guys or even the 2000 guys, that were taking Balls Mahoney chair shots and stuff like that. Those are the guys I really worry about. This one it could be. We don't know.
I mean, he was, towards the tail end of his career. He did, he was in WWE towards the during the start of the Attitude Era, and then he was in WCW when they started their hardcore stuff. So and then he was on the Indies at the tail end of his career. So and that you don't have as much video evidence of what he went through during that time either. So,
we don't know. Hopefully not. I mean, again, best wishes to all the losses that have been going on. It just seems, man, they seem to be racking up lately.
Yeah.
So now that we've completely drugged the show down into a black, awful place, I feel like I need to apologize too. Like we started 15 minutes late. I did not realize, man, like unintended car buying, like when you're not ready to buy a car but you need to buy a car all of a sudden, like it's still hard. Like what? Like that's what I was doing, guys. Dealing with a little bit of one of those. I've been in the last few days kind of pushed into a corner. I wasn't ready to buy a car, but we need another car. So when you're having 7 conversations with like 7 different car owners, like shopping for a car, it'll kind of put a damper on getting out to your podcast on time.
Yeah. I mean,
so my apologies.
Especially when you're in a hurry to solve the situation.
Yeah. That's the other big thing. Yeah. It's like, I gotta fix this car issue. So as always, you can get at us. There's a few ways you can get at us. Twitter at Smarkdown Radio. That goes to me. At CPBuff22. That goes to Brother Bob.
Sure
if you want to email us, smarkdownradio@gmail.com. You can comment. As always, we'll check our phones and whatnot. We love opinions. You want to share something, get it on the air, break it off. We'll be more than happy to share. But we got a lot to talk about this week. In addition to, I mean, I don't want to start going through this because Raw, I don't want to crap on Raw, but it was just, for a go-home Raw, it was very ho-hum.
SmackDown was pretty good. So
SmackDown was okay, but does anybody really think that they're going to change the title off of AJ?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I would think that they would wait till, maybe a second match, but, to prolong it and actually turn it into a feud. I mean, his last title match was against Rusev, I do believe, with the last pay-per-view, right? He hasn't has he?
I don't think he's defended it. Yeah. I know, he's had matches and whatnot, but
so I mean, and that it was like a one-off. So they have to build him into a feud of some kind. They can't just, unless they're looking to do a AJ runs through the entire roster storyline, I don't see these one-offs being of any help.
I don't I don't know. Like, that's the only thing that's holding me back on this feud is I don't feel like they have. I don't feel like Joe's going to win. He's not going to win a title.
Yeah, they haven't made him look credible in the WWE on the main roster,
which is sad because like this is going to be a great match to watch. Like the in-ring, it's Joe and AJ. of course they're going to perform in the ring.
Absolutely.
That's dumb to assume that they're not going to perform in the ring. I guess a Raw highlight for me was Swole Ambrose. Jesus.
Yeah,
Dude's been eating red meat and lifting 8 hours a day.
You mean Triple
Ambrose?
Yeah,
I saw that one too. The picture of Dolph Ziggler rocking 1990s Triple H hair, and then Dean Ambrose rocking 2018 Triple H hair.
With those traps he came back with, you think the fans are going to start chanting Ambrose, Ambrose? You know,
well,
he could get a tribal tattoo on his bicep.
Yeah, like Ambrose is swole, yo. Like he bulked up, like, and I know, like immediately when you see a guy like this, where you're like, holy crap, he's been away. You're like, did he hire Lance Armstrong's trainer? Or like, what's going on here? No.
How bored must he have been? I mean, he's been cleared to come back forever.
Yeah,
so,
he's been cleared for a while, and it made sense to keep him off TV. Everybody's expecting this heel turn on Seth. I really don't want that. Like, I don't want him to turn heel. Not for a while. Like, eventually, sure. But I want him to come back and be, have Seth back. They can do some cool stuff, whatever.
With
then
him
eventually,
as jacked as he looks right now, like I think I'd be okay with a heel turn. I think
that's what. And now I'm really worried about it because he's yoked, man. I want to see him throw that clothesline. Like,
do we think we're gonna get some more Renee Young on commentary? Maybe she can call some.
I hope
matches,
so. Like I really like that commentary. Like that was a good commentary team.
I mean, if they could just have a team of her and Corey Graves, I'd be ecstatic. Like just those two.
I
mean, I'm tired of Michael Cole flubbing everything.
Cole's okay.
Did you catch the call?
I remember. I watched the hour-and-a-half version.
Yeah,
on Hulu.
But I'm assuming they would put the Sasha Banks.
I don't know if I may have missed the call.
He called something like Sasha hits her with this and goes for the pinfall. And Banks kicks out, and you're like, "Wait, what?"
Oh yeah,
well, come on, Michael.
Let's not act
a regular thing.
Let's not act like everybody doesn't do that. Like, I mean, you can go back and listen to any of the great announcers, and they all have that problem at times. So, I mean, I don't know. Like Cole, I'm not gonna write in and be like, "Go Cole" or anything. But he's better than he was. Cole. Yeah, no, we're not hashtagging Fire Michael Cole. Like, 5 years ago, I would have said hashtag Fire Michael Cole because I was over it. But like, I'm wondering how much of that was just the people that were around him. Because if I had to sit next to JBL doing commentary that much, I'd probably want to shoot myself too.
Well, as long as they don't give me heel Michael Cole, I guess I can deal with it.
Yeah, just like not through the leg. That way you can go get some like home time and not have to like sit next to JBL. Just like a break. You know what I mean? Like something. That was one of the best decisions they could have made is getting rid of JBL.
Yeah.
Like
speaking of terrible people doing terrible things. How the heck is Randy Orton on SmackDown this week? I mean, they announced an investigation into some allegations.
I don't know.
How is he still on TV?
Apparently, when it happens in the writers' room, it doesn't really matter. I don't know. The Randy Orton like penis grabbing, hand shaking accusations are flying and not getting nearly enough coverage.
No, if had this happened in Hollywood, this would be like all over every freaking media.
And this is worse. So a good example to this is Louis C.K., right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a comparison. And Louis C.K. was a guy who like he would like ask you. He'd be like, "Hey, you want to see me, beat off my dick?" And and if the person said no, he wouldn't do it. And if the person was like, "Yeah, sure," then he would. And like he can't do anything anymore. And he's come out and like apologized and was like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have done that." And he's tried to handle it, right or wrong, wherever you fall on that. It was probably at best poor decision making, and at worst it was straight up wrong. I mean,
I just don't get how somebody like James Gunn makes some poor taste jokes 10 years ago and has apologized for them, loses his job.
Well, I
while
mean,
someone like Randy Orton, who's
like Randy, and this is from a company that like has all
himself.
these anti-bullying initiatives.
Well, and they have women writers. They've had women writers on staff, and the allegations that he's done this to everybody. So I'm like,
whoops,
come on, like.
So Orton apparently, one of his big things is he likes to, pull his cock out and like basically handle himself, and then force the writer to shake their hand,
or threaten to
or
tell the boss.
Yeah, I'm going to tell Vince you refuse to shake my hand. So look, like I don't feel it's. I thought Randy Orton had kind of matured a little bit. And again, how did we hear how long ago this was happening?
I mean,
like
Randy Orton
was not a nice guy when he was younger.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's no secret that Randy Orton was not a particularly nice guy when he was younger. He, his military troubles and, and then he was kind of a jerk, entitled, spoiled, like, dickbag. I don't know any other way to say it. But, people have said he's way more mature and way more professional nowadays than he was, and that happens. I mean, when you're 40, you're way more mature than when you're 19.
Yeah.
So go figure. But how was this recently? Because that I didn't hear.
Well, the post, I guess, that's going around now is something that went around like 5 years or so ago. From what I've heard, I mean, it may be longer, but from what I've heard, it's around the 5-year mark. And who knows how long before that post he was doing this, or if he's continued to. But I don't know. I think if it was put out there and nothing was ever done, like that's equally as big of a problem.
Yeah, they've got, this is a potential PR disaster.
Yeah.
In the brewing, like it's percolating it at
Yes.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, excuse me. It was a really lackluster Raw, and it's amazing how much more when I'm watching New Japan or I'm watching NXT, like actively watching it.
Yes.
How much more I notice the absurd amounts of talking on Raw.
Yeah.
It's pretty, like, it sucks. Like, that part sucks, man. Give me more matches.
Yeah. People were saying in a couple different forums that question was asked, what's the one thing you would change about Raw?
More matches.
And a ton of people's response was, well, only make it 2 hours. And my reply was, so you want them to remove that 1 hour of wrestling? Because that's what they're going to take out.
Yeah, you're going to get 2 hours of talking.
Yes.
That's what you're going to get. Yeah, I want more wrestling. Like, and why do they feel the need to put the same guys in the ring week after week after week after week when they're heading to a blow off at a pay-per-view? Yeah, okay. Why don't you if you want to have talking like that to that level, why are you not let's use the example of Rhonda. And they're randomly, Natty obviously went home to be with her family. Absolutely understandable. But they felt this, like, need to wedge somebody with, like we talked about last week. Exactly. Who's not doing anything? Ember Moon's not doing anything. Ta-da! New best friend, right? You don't need to do that. Why not let Rhonda have a match with somebody who's not really doing anything that she can beat? And, even if it's like a face-to-face type match where they just have a match and she wins and then, they shake hands and go on their way, just a regular, quick match. And then, she can start to cut a promo. You have Alexa come out, attack her or whatever. There's a lot of different things. I don't need to see the same people. And the other thing that's a huge pet peeve of mine, and they keep doing it, is, and it's like Alicia Fox is the one wrestling. Why are they playing Alexa Bliss's music? I mean, it last weekend. It's just
obviously
now it's just grating.
Obviously, Foxy just hasn't shown up prepared. I mean, she looked like she crawled out of a tree this week. So I mean,
no, it was the remains of Mitch the Ficus, right? Amber or. Yeah,
very, very possible.
Yeah, so Dean went away, and he was spending too much time in the gym, getting all swole, and he couldn't take care of the ficus, so it died. And then because they wanted to recycle, that we got that in Foxy's hair.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say that Foxy was so bored not being on TV during that time that she decided to break into Ambrose's house and steal his plant. But
okay, moving on. But that's a good example. Like, you watch, you would have matches in the where guys were heading towards a big match at a pay-per-view, and they would both be on the same show, but they would have matches with people completely unrelated, and then talk trash about each other, and then they both get wins. They both look strong.
Or you could do the New Japan thing and just put them in tag matches and 6-man matches like they used to do.
Well, I don't know. I think that's kind of played out too, because we see these same people, like you said. Okay, by the time you get to a pay-per-view, usually you've seen. Like Joe and AJ's gonna probably be a good example of this eventually. Mm-hmm. Like, you're gonna have seen them interact together in the ring so many times. By the time they get to the 4th or 5th match at a pay-per-view, because that's what it's gonna be, you're gonna be like, how many times do I have to watch this? Because I think that's where I think people mistake fatigue for bad matches. People are just fatigued on seeing that. And that's the other thing is WWE, you're seeing really the same match. It's when you like memorable WWE matches are when they like break out of that mold and they do something different. And I know like one of the ones I always cite like a lot is Owen Cena champion versus champion. Like, that was not a WWE, like, I mean, it was a WWE match, but they did different things in there, and we hadn't seen Owens do that before, like on the main roster, so it was new, and we loved it. And then as they kept going, their matches were very similar. They were we were all right. They were good matches, but like we'd seen it, and whereas in New Japan, you could put 2 guys in the ring together, and they have a match, and then maybe they touch again like in 3 weeks or something. But it's a completely different match because there aren't 37,000 moves that aren't allowed.
Yeah. And, the other thing is WWE's lack of factions. If you think about it, I mean, in New Japan, if, Okada and Tanahashi are going at it, you can throw any member of Chaos in there against Tanahashi leading into that match and have, like, Okada at ringside or whatever and not actually have to have them on a microphone talking at each other or, in the ring fighting. And that's a way to help build it without, fatiguing the fans.
Right. So. I mean, there are ways to do it. I mean, I think Japan is really, but again, and what we're probably going to talk about this is like you had Tanahashi and Okada touch, and it was the first time in a while that they had touched, but we've seen that like many, many times. And that match was great. And this is one of those moments, we talk about WWE's 50-50 booking. They booked those guys 50-50, but because they had a time limit, they went 30-minute Broadway. And both guys looked great. And, like, it was like, it was, oh, man, like, Tanahashi was so close to winning, but, so was Okada at points. Like, it wasn't, you didn't feel like it diminished either one of those guys in any way. And every time it's just every time they hook up, you're going to get an amazing match, and you never know who's going to win.
Same can be said about the Omega Stone Pitbull match. I mean, those guys that's
coming.
50-50 booking too.
And that's coming. Yeah. It looks like Ishii's going to get his title shot.
He is.
I mean, like so, that did they officially? I hadn't seen that yet. So Ishii's going to get his title shot. I don't know if they put the title on him, but I mean that's a big deal too. I mean we'll get to New Japan. Let's run through since we're talking SummerSlam, and we should be talking SummerSlam anyway. Let's go ahead and talk SummerSlam. Let's run through these. Like, are there any before we give predictions? Like, what match are you looking forward to, Bob, if any? Like, are there
Styles
any?
Samoa Joe?
Yeah, that's probably
it. Oh, Daniel Bryan Miz. the build for that this week on SmackDown was really good. They did three video packages.
Is it just me? Is it just me, or does it feel rushed though? Because like this is again, it's the I know it's the contract. I understand it's the contract situation, but this feels way more like a WrestleMania match than it should be anyway.
My assumption is we may see how within the next couple weeks whether or not that contract's a possibility or not. Because if they put Daniel Bryan over in the match, just a clean win. Or they put Miz over with just a clean win.
Yeah, if Miz goes over with a clean win, I think that's saying a lot. If they put him over,
I think either one
by
of
hook
them,
or crook, like that's different. But if it's a Miz clean win, I think that it leaves us with more questions than it answers.
I wouldn't be surprised seeing a Miz AJ match in the next 6 months for the title. They just announced on SmackDown that they renewed the Miz and Mrs. show after like 4 episodes, and I'm like, all right, well, like
he's gonna be a big part of their plans moving forward. So all right, this is as according to all things internet. We don't know if this is the exact order, right?
Yeah, it's who
knows?
WWE doesn't know what the exact order is.
Yeah, who knows? They probably will pencil it in Sunday afternoon. Yeah. So we're just going to run through things real quick and kind of give picks. Alexander Gulak, this is I don't know. I'm gonna flip a coin. Like I don't know. Like who knows what they're gonna do? Like because they don't really treat the cruiserweight title with a lot of respect to begin with. So
I love Cedric Alexander. So I would.
There's a lot of talent down there.
Put my money behind him.
There's a lot of talent down there, and I think I don't know if they're gonna change the title on him or not. So I mean Alexander, I guess, in a coin flip, but I could see them changing it. I feel like it's a coin flip. We've got Rusev / Lana Day versus
Cien Almas and Elisa Vega.
Yeah. This is sad. Like they go from Rusev goes from a title match to like this.
Yeah.
Like I mean, okay, but what are you doing with it? Like.
It is refreshing to see like a mixed tag match on a pay-per-view in WWE.
Yeah, but I don't like mixed tag matches in WWE because like they're finally allowing some contact, but they're not going to allow real contact in this match because it's not Ronda and it's not James Ellsworth getting beat up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna there's been rumors that Vince is like crazy high over on Andrade, so I'm gonna go that way.
I'm gonna pick Rusev just because he was in a title match.
A coin flip. I feel
trying to keep him relevant would be important, I would think, at this point.
Yep. So number 3, we've got the B team versus. They're not putting the belts on the Revival. Give it up.
FTR.
So I think we're both picking B team here.
Yes.
I think it would be a shocker. Maybe they've done enough work to and they took their medicine long enough that they're willing to, but I'm picking B team. It's one of the few bright spots in the mismanaged tag division.
Yeah.
What do we got? We are on. I don't care. Like I don't like this. I wish I cared because I love Finn Balor, but I'm apathetic towards Constable Corbin. I'm going to go with Finn Balor because rumors are he's doing demon gimmick, and my guess is if he comes out as the demon, that's going to be him tapping into that place to get over the big guy.
If he comes out as the demon, I agree, but I have a feeling they're just going to keep burying that demon and have him lose to Corbin because Corbin's a big dude and Vince likes his big dudes, and they have recently started calling Finn Balor the tiny Irishman. So I'm like, well, way to bury that guy.
The only reason I think Finn's going to go over is because, like I said, if he comes out as the demon, you may see that's that, and reports are that's what he's doing. So I'll go with Finn. All right, we've got the women's match: Mella, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. So you know who I'm picking.
Yeah, you're gonna go with Charlotte.
I know. I don't care.
I'm actually thinking Becky might.
It could be Charlotte against the world. I'm picking Charlotte.
Yeah, I think I could see Becky win it. I mean, there was the little in ring face to face with entertaining, being that Carmella was called a diva in the women's division. That was entertaining, and then Carmella telling Becky that she was the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion only because Charlotte was on Raw.
No.
And it was interesting, and I don't know. I could just see them putting the belt on Becky again. They haven't done anything with her in such a long time, and putting her in this feud. If they're gonna take it off Carmella, I can definitely see it going.
I think it's got to go on to one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I love Becky, and it's one of those, like I said. I think I said it in week 2 or 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, week 1. When right after Charlotte came back, I was like, I love Becky. I'd totally be picking Becky if it were anybody else but Charlotte in this match because I'm a complete mark.
Well, and Charlotte, I feel like with her name and pedigree, she doesn't need to have the title to be a big deal.
But I think the goal is going to be to put the belt on one, either Becky or Charlotte, so that those two can have one of the main events at Evolution. Because you gotta
or maybe main event against each other.
I mean there's that's kind of what Becky Charlotte as a because I would assume that the two main events of that on Evolution are going to be for the 2 titles. So you put the title, move it off of Mella. No offense to Mella, she's fine. She's not going to give you an in-ring match that's as good as Becky v Charlotte. Yeah. It's just not going to happen.
I think the question is if WWE's managed to make any leeway with this horsewoman versus horsewoman match. Because if that's a thing, and they already announced all the titles to be defended, then you could see Carmella and Alexa both retain this weekend.
Maybe.
It really depends on where
we'll have to see. But yeah, my money. I like any match that Charlotte's in. I'm picking her, even if it's dumb. So Charlotte, my pick. Your pick, Becky. All right. So we are on to Bludgeons versus New Day. Because they don't really do much with the tag team division, like in terms of caring what happens down there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a coin flip too, because they would be happy with those belts on either team.
Yeah.
So
I'll pick the New Day just for the fact that a while ago Vince was saying, they were saying that Vince was super over on them and wanted to see them hold like a record for most tag team wins, and if they won the belt here. Even if they drop it in a month or two, it would be another championship to add to their list of accomplishments.
I'm going to go New Day as well.
Yeah.
Because I think they can switch these titles without really hurting either team.
Plus,
it continues the rivalry.
And it already could lead into a rivalry with Sanity, which they had their match on SmackDown, which was really good.
And that opens up some more options, and then you can get 3 ways between New Day, Bludgeons, and Sanity. So it'll be interesting to see. I think New Day. I think we're both New Day. We've got we talked about this one a little bit already. Miz and Daniel Bryan. I'm gonna go with Daniel.
Yep.
And say that they're going to assume that he's going to do a contract, especially if he's getting put over.
Yeah, I mean, you would think. I mean, unless Daniel straight out said he's not going to return, which doesn't seem to be the case, you would think they would do whatever they can to entice him to do so. They have given him like house shows off and things of that nature, so it would make sense. And it's been a long. I mean, this is a long build. This is years. This is since
everybody's been. This is the longest build the WWE has done in forever.
Yeah.
For ages, and unfortunately, it wasn't. It was. I don't know. Now it feels like it's getting rushed, but I'm gonna go Daniel and see what happens. We've got Nakamura and Jeff Hardy. I don't think they're gonna switch the title back yet.
Yeah,
I don't think we're there yet. Especially with the Randy Orton stuff up in the air, and I don't know what do they do. Like there was rumors we were gonna get like Brother Nero or Willow even. It just feels like it's not time to switch it back yet, and they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So
what's the over-under on low blows in this one?
I don't know, like 3.5?
Yeah.
Like 3.5.
What do we think? Do you think Orton's going to show up?
I don't know.
RKO
I think keeping Orton off TV is probably a smart idea right now.
Forced handshake out of nowhere.
Forced handshake out of nowhere. So we've got
Money in the Bank on the line.
Money in the Bank on the line. Get these hands. Get them. Get them. I love.
I thought you were a KO, Mark.
I love KO. I see. This is tough. Like I love both of these guys. You know, like Braun completely. Yeah, it's funny because Braun would have never got over had he not beat the living piss out of Roman Reigns. Yeah. Like, people were like, okay, he's okay. And then, I'm not finished with you.
Yeah.
How that didn't get turned into a shirt, I don't know.
I'm still waiting to buy one.
But
I keep asking.
To be fair, the night he was like, I'm not leaving until everybody gets these hands, I was like, take my money. That was a good moment. But yeah, he gets over because he beat the hell out of Roman. And I love KO, man. I think KO's one of those guys that has the rare quality. He could be a real heel today.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen because like there are all these reports about like Vince is panicking about the reaction about the Universal title match. Who knows? We've heard the reports. Maybe Owens screws Braun out of the briefcase somehow and then cashes in to protect everybody involved because he can cheat and it doesn't make anybody. I don't know, man. I don't think they take the case off of Braun.
I just want to see KO deliver a package powerbomb or pop-up powerbomb on Braun.
Pop-up powerbomb on Braun? I don't think that's happened.
I don't think that's
possible. I think you're more likely to get a package pile driver than a pop-up powerbomb, and you're not getting one. So
I don't know. I'm going to say KO. I think they're super worried about making Roman or Brock look weak, and therefore they're going to try to find a way to get around either one of them legitimately losing.
Yeah, I mean, it's again like this is what makes SummerSlam kind of interesting. I don't think we exactly know what's going on. Now that may change. Like it's Wednesday. That may change by Sunday. You know, with the way the WWE ship leaks. I mean, the leaks are absurd. So
we know it's likely to be bad. We just don't know in which way.
Yeah. Dolph Ziggler with Drew McIntyre's corner versus. I love how on the notes you just write Shield.
Yeah.
So it's Seth Rollins versus with Swole Ambrose, and you use the old picture. You couldn't find a new picture of Swole Ambrose.
Hey, it's the picture WWE used on their webpage.
Well, WWE should get on that.
I know, right?
So you know, I think this is. There's some potential here to move the title to Seth again, and have Ziggler and McIntyre feud. There's potential to not move the title and have Ambrose turn heel, and him and Rollins feud. I mean, I think that's more likely. Everybody's kind of predicting that with his new look and everything. We've got this turn. So. Yeah, I'm gonna go Ziggler retaining.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's gonna happen.
All right, Bliss and Rousey. We can just go on because
Alexa's gonna win.
Alexa, I don't think they're. I think the money is letting Ronda chase. I think she gets screwed, and I think she chases to probably till Mania.
Of anybody who she could be in who could screw her out of the match. I mean, Alexa Bliss is
that's
amazing
the one.
At that. Yeah.
So. Nothing, and I think that's totally appropriate. So I'm picking Alexa here. I love Ronda. I've said like numerous times she makes all the other women look like, you know, she's the strongest one in the ring. She's physically dominating, but you know, this is the good part about pro wrestling. By hook or by crook, you know, steal that title, keep the title, and then keep Ronda. I think the money is in having Ronda chase.
Absolutely.
So,
AJ.
The
possible match of the night.
Of the night. You know? AJ. I don't know. Like, part of me hopes they change it to Joe.
I mean, I could see them changing it to Joe. I just think that I think they might try to have AJ break that Punk record, and if they push to do that, you know that's where they're going. Then he's not dropping that belt anytime soon. But an extended feud with Samoa Joe could make Joe look good. especially if he can pick up maybe in a title match a win by count out or something where he just decimates AJ on the outside and he can't get back in the ring or something of that nature.
I think my pick's AJ, but I would like to see Joe win. But I'm going to go with AJ.
I don't know. Joe brought AJ's family into it on SmackDown, and that never works out well historically with an AJ Styles. Like, you bring his family in, and he tends to win.
So,
good old match number 13.
Lucky number 13.
They put it on in the main event. That is.
Is there at this point, if they don't switch the title finally now? Even regardless of the audience reaction and all these things, it makes Roman. It really makes him look weak, and it ruins everything you've done to this point. Even though
I really think they did that at Mania already, and then they had him lose two pay-per-views after Mania, two matches in a row, and pay-per-view after losing at Mania. It just I don't know why they still have him in that main event, and they keep playing that footage from Hell in the Cell where they keep saying, oh, his feet touched first, even though his one foot's obviously up on the freaking ring apron, and I'm like, WWE, you can lie to us, but you can't lie to us when you're showing us controversial evidence because nobody's going to buy that.
I'm going to pick Roman. I'm going
to pick KO.
It's the only KO. KO leaving the event with the title.
Yeah,
so.
KO or Brock.
So well, this is one of those interesting things that we've never had to deal with before. I was just notified of a small issue. So, Bob, we're going to have to take a 2-minute break.
Okay.
If I can figure out how to transition to a 2-minute break, we hope you don't go anywhere. And if you're watching the post video, we're going to edit that out. We're going to go right back to covers. So we're going to be right back in just one moment. I mean, professional broadcasters like Rush Limbaugh and the Young Turks all take breaks, right? So it's okay for us.
Yeah, but we're better than them.
I wouldn't go that far. They kind of make a living off it. Well, thanks everybody. Welcome back, Travis, brother Bob. We had to have a little bit of an emergency break there, but we are back. And I mean, I needed a little rest after talking SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a good night's sleep after watching it.
True story.
Yeah.
So, those are our SummerSlam predictions. I mean, I don't even know. We had talked about doing a pay-per-view companion. I don't know if it's really worth it for this pay-per-view.
Yeah. It's definitely not what SummerSlam used to be.
Well, let's get to some more interesting things. Let's talk a little New Japan because New Japan was crazy good, right?
Oh, absolutely.
G1 Climax wrapped up. We have official results.
Yep.
Not necessarily surprising, but perhaps a little unexpected. And that's the best part about G1 is, and this is a good example, like there was a lot of matches, guys dropped matches to each other to set up future storylines with not really hurting anybody who was in a significant feature place. Obviously, you have Tanahashi being the big winner. Do we have?
Yeah, well, I figured we'd build to that though.
Well, no, I mean we gotta. Yeah, so Bob does a lot of the. Again, if you're looking for a production position and you're in West Michigan, we could use your help.
Yes.
So come see us. All right, well let's get to it. Cody is going to be challenging for the U.S. title.
Well, he called out Juice after getting that pinfall in their tag match. It was Juice Robinson and David Finlay versus Hangman Page and Cody. And Cody got that pinfall and took the belt and said, "I'm gonna be the next champion. You're nothing but a gender bent Kyrie Singh." And I was like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah, so
that's entertaining. And I mean, there's so many people chasing that belt, but it'll be interesting to see.
Juice has got a lot of people, but it looks like Cody's going to be the first program.
Which, I'm good with.
Yeah, Cody and Juice. That's going to be a good match.
Maybe possibly NWA champion versus IWGP US champion.
That could be really good. Who knows? We'll have to see a time frame. The six-man never open weight championships.
And that image.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So the firing squad, the Bullet Club OGs of Tamatanga, Tamaloa, and
who does not give an F.
Yes, and Bone Soldier, the new Bone Soldier, picked up after asking for a title match to turn the match against Marty Scurll and the Bucks into a title match. They managed to win said match, and then threw down first the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team title, saying they didn't care about them, and then saying we don't care about these either, and throwing down the belts they just won at the feet of the new CEO of New Japan.
Did you hear, since we're talking about the OGs, and this did you hear the stat about Fale? He's the first person ever to not be pinned or submitted in a G1, and he only had like 4 points because
he averages like 9 points or something, or 10 points in the G1 is what his average is. So it's like, it's crazy that
it was all disqualifications. Like they were running crazy over everybody. It's going to be really interesting to see where they go with the OG storyline, what they're going to do with GOD, what they're going to do with Fale, and see how this develops and how they challenge the other parts of the Bullet Club. Because, man, those guys are, again, they do not give an F.
Yeah. I don't get overly excited or marked out over meeting a pro wrestler usually.
Except this.
I think the last person who I was completely marking out about was meeting Shawn Michaels. Tama Tonga, Hamaloa, and Haku are going to be at Starrcast, and I popped on tickets as soon as they went on sale. I'm like, I am so excited.
So yeah, yeah, you got to get a picture with you cocking the fist with Tama.
Oh my God. God, so good.
We had talked, and I don't want to spill all the beans, but we had talked about a couple things since as soon as that meet and greet went live. You were like, oh my God, and you bought it. And we had talked about some other cool stuff. Are you gonna try and do that to bring back to the show? Like, I don't want to give it all away.
Having looked at, I mean, we talked about maybe doing like a mock Roman T-shirt.
He's gonna ruin the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the fact is I'm probably not going to do it, having looked into the time frame to get things printed and such.
I thought it'd be bad. Yeah. I thought it'd be badass to like go to the meet and greet wearing like, you know, a T-shirt that instead says Roman Empire and kind of change the symbols a little bit and have it say Tongan Empire, and then on the back no F's given, and just be like, just mock up a shirt and be like, and give one to Tama Tonga, and because F Roman.
Yeah.
So
I think he just needs a shirt that says no spears given, no F's given.
That'd be really good too.
No spears taken, no F's given. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. So the belts are kind of up in the air, I guess.
I haven't
heard. I mean, tournament to see who's the new 6-man never open weights.
Possibly. I mean,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they announce. There's your match.
There's the match. Good Lord, what a match!
Oh, it was so good.
And I watched it. Good Lord, holy crap! Match of the year candidate.
Yeah.
Easily match of the year candidate. There's 2 or 3 matches out of this tournament like that are legit match of the year candidates.
Yeah,
this one, 2 of them at least are Tanahashi. Depending on, Tanahashi Okada deserves to be in that. That was a great match. It depends. Omega Ishii. There's a few that deserve to be right there. Well, I mean, again, it's a little bit personal preference, but there were some great matches in this tournament, and you had the young up and comer. He's not quite as young anymore, but he's like still he's trying to get up to that top level. He's trying to attain what Tanahashi has had for a decade.
And I didn't realize all the backstory with these guys. And the announcing team did a fantastic job, letting people know that Tanahashi was kind of negative about Ibushi, reconnecting with Kenny Omega and getting involved in this Bullet Club drama, and was telling him that, hey, you should be like the top guy in the company, and instead you're getting involved in this stuff and you're not taking it serious enough. And I'm like, I had no idea that like the story had gone in that direction, and it added a whole lot to the match knowing that.
So you have the old lion getting it done.
Sure did.
And good night now. He's got to defend the right, but he's gonna get another title shot, right?
Well, maybe. Apparently, he's already accepted defenses of that title shot against both Jay White and against Okada,
amazing. It'll be interesting to see if he can hold on to it, but I don't know.
I'd be okay with Tanahashi Omega at Wrestle Kingdom.
That's assuming Omega makes it to Wrestle Kingdom with the belt.
I'd be okay with Tonga versus Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom.
Let's. And this is the difference between New Japan and WWE among the many sports entertainment pro wrestling differences. You really, because they have 3 or 4 guys that they let be the guy, and they're not afraid to cycle. Like Tanahashi kind of went down into the mid card, but you didn't feel like the way his matches and his losses to Okada were and whatnot, you never felt like he ever went away, but he went away far enough to make you want to see him in the main event again.
Yeah.
And that's something WWE has not learned how to do in the modern era.
The only thing really close is when Cena had that time off and was getting like more boos than cheers, and then went away for the movies and stuff, and came back, and then was actually starting to get more cheers than boos.
That happens.
That was one of those situations similar where they had a guy who was the top of the company, and they didn't have him in that role for a while, and then when he came back and kind of the fans appreciated it because they didn't have him there for so long. That's probably the closest thing to what they've done with Tanahashi.
The difference
being that Cena just wasn't around.
Yeah, the difference is WWE's guys, when they go away, they actually are missed. Like Tanahashi was actually around doing some things, but they weren't. It didn't feel like they were forcing you down his throat.
Yep.
He was just, okay, Tanahashi, he lost. He's kind of out of the title picture, but he's racking up wins as a tag team. He's racking up wins, in other, like in the mid card. Wow, he just keeps winning. Well, it is Tanahashi. Of course he's going to keep winning.
With how successful Shawn Michaels' second half of his career was, you would think WWE would understand that they don't have to put a guy in the main event and have them be like one of the best, and most adored, wrestlers in their company. I mean, Shawn came back. He won the belt once, I think, in his return total.
That
in the second 7 years, he won it from Triple H and then dropped it, and then he had a couple title matches over 7 years at pay-per-views, and other than that, he was wrestling mid-card type feuds, and he was always considered a superstar, top guy.
But he also, they were doing that with, they would put him and the other like kind of top guy that didn't have much going on into a mid-card, and they'd elevate it almost to main event status.
They also had him and Triple H feuding with like Vince and Shane and the Spirit Squad.
Yeah.
So they kind of had him all over the card with every level of talent, and they just don't do that anymore.
So you mentioned the Spirit Squad. One of the groups I was in, they had somebody posed an interesting question, and gimmick changes that made careers, and obviously the obvious ones are Rocky Maivia Rock and Ringmaster Stone Cold, and like those got named incessantly. I had to post a picture of Spirit Squad Dolph Ziggler. Yes. So talk about a potentially career-ending gimmick.
So was that worse, or was Scotty Goldman, aka Jewy the Jew, Jewy Stein?
There were some good ones that I and other people had come up with. Besides, Kane is a big one.
Kane's a huge one.
The Rock, Triple H, like Stone Cold, they all had significant gimmick changes that got them over. But there are a lot like
Kevin Nash. You'd have to.
You could consider Nash. Ziggler was a big one for me. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. 1, 2, 3 Kid to X-Pac to 6 was a big one.
Hulkster to Hollywood.
Yeah, that one's another one that's just obviously named. Sting, from Blade Runner Surfer Sting to Dark Brooding Crow Sting
to Wolfpack Sting to Joker Sting.
But he was that darker Sting.
Yeah.
There was a definitive. Yes, he continued to progress that character, but there was that definitive line where he started to grow his hair out, and then all of a sudden he wasn't dyeing his hair, and then he was kind of just around, and he was on and off TV sort of for a year, but he didn't wrestle for a year, and then he came back as Crow Sting. That was a pretty big one.
God, I wish he'd come to something that I can actually go to.
Taz is a Tasmaniac to Taz. Really was a huge change and really made him an ECW. So there's a lot of those out there, but it was just, you mentioned the Spirit Squad, and I posted a picture of a very young Dolph Ziggler in the Spirit Squad. So, since we're talking about Ring of Honor and New Japan, or members thereof, we were talking about New Japan, and most of that is very fluid right now. I suppose we should talk a little more about the MSG Super Show.
Yeah, last week we were on pre-sale day, and we had mentioned the cluster that was trying to order tickets. Apparently, it ended up not being too bad, considering they sold out 70% of their tickets just for pre-sale.
it's guys, it's sold out, and
the rest sold out in like 20 minutes.
So the kind of the big notes. There's reports that Vince is furious. He and WWE have only sold out MSG
once in 6 years.
Once in the last 6 years, and twice in the 9, I think.
Well, so yeah, and in that 9, it's gone 3 years back. They sold out, and then 3 years before that they sold out, and then 3 years back again.
Yeah,
so it's like once every 3 years.
They've been super cards. Like it was like the last sellout was
Brock and Undertaker.
Yeah, Brock and Undertaker on house shows.
Yep.
So Vince reportedly is very unhappy. His next move is to offer massive money to the Elite to try and keep them off that show and get them under WWE
they were
contract.
Talking big money to a ton of different stars of New Japan, not just the Elite.
Right, but I think the targets that I keep hearing are specifically Omega and the Bucks. They do not want Omega and the Bucks on that show.
I guess they had there was talk they were going to offer Juice Robinson a contract too, and he basically came out and said he had wanted nothing to do with the WWE.
Yeah.
But I mean, guys who could take advantage, and I don't know what contract situation is. It really depends on where their contracts are. But guys, I think could take huge advantage of this would be guys like David Finlay, Jay White. Some of these guys who aren't at the top of the card but are solid mid card guys over in Japan who do already speak English and could be like brought right into NXT and put into like some major matches on WrestleMania weekend. I think those are guys who could really make out well in this situation.
There's going to be some movement. Also of note, it's the first $1 million gate in the U.S. not produced by Vince McMahon. This is
a $1 million gate.
Yeah, this is a big accomplishment. Like, I mean, kudos to Ring of Honor and New Japan for getting the deal done.
I'm so excited
for fans supporting it. We've got a long way to go before we can really say it's a wrestling renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
I think, younger fans or people who like discredit Jim Cornette completely, because again, Cornette really shits on the product, today's product, across the board, and we can still find ways to enjoy it, and we enjoy it. But it's hard to argue when he takes out, his book and he breaks down months that they had back in the 80s where they were getting just massive paydays, and they were the payouts were just great, and they were 6 nights a week, and their expenses were almost none, and you had options. It wasn't, the thing is like it wasn't just the WWE. You had, all these territories operating all around the country with, each territory had, a handful of top guys, a ton of mid-card guys. All these people were making real livings doing pro wrestling. So it's really hard to argue that, because you do see that, especially from fans that, were really young in the Attitude Era, and they kind of remember it, but then they grew up more in Ruthless Aggression and now.
Yeah.
And they're like, wrestling's amazing now. Oh, my God, it's better than it's ever been. No, it's not.
One argument I have to make in regards to that, and something I've really come to notice recently, especially with Starrcast and All In, we're in an era where during the 80s, if you wanted to watch wrestling, you'd have to, if it wasn't WWE, you'd have to locate it on your local listings. If you were in, Michigan, you weren't getting wrestling out of Texas or Stampede Wrestling out of Canada. Like trying to find the, you with a lot of tape trading. And so if you had an opportunity to go to a show, you were going to go to the show because the possibility that show would never air anywhere, that you'd be able to see it. Where now, we got WWE Network, we got New Japan World, you got Ring of Honor. They're all broadcasting like on demand, so you don't even have to be at, if you're not free on, the 13th for the show, you can watch that show whenever you want to for $9.99. And then we look at Starrcast and All In. Now, All In, well, up until Madison Square Garden, the biggest independent wrestling show.
Yeah. And it's still the biggest independent because like Ring of Honor, the Super Show is Ring of Honor New Japan. It's promotions. It's not. Okay. I mean, yeah. So I get what you're saying.
And then Starrcast being like a huge like 3-day, 4-day convention, on par with like. I mean, I think it's on par with your major Comic-Cons. Like there's so many people.
It's incredible.
So. You look at the ticket pricing for that stuff. Front row seats for All In were like $150. Your passes for Starrcast were like $75 to $100 ish. Or for like $75, you could watch all of it on Fight TV, everything at Starrcast, and then you have a $20 credit towards the All In show. And so you could end up spending less money to see everything, not have to stay in a hotel or travel anywhere, and get to see all the content everybody else gets to see. So in an era where everything is constantly brought directly into your home, and you don't have to make those kind of trips and have to take that time off work or have to bring the kids and buy tickets for the spouse, and in that era, selling these kind of shows the way they are and not being on a major network to promote that is extremely impressive. I mean, they're doing all this via social media and internet.
They've gotten really creative with their marketing, which is what you need to do. You need to think outside of the box.
I mean, even back in the 80s, there wasn't a company that sold T-shirts and merchandise for the entirety of like every promotion with exception WWE. And that's kind of where you're at with pro wrestling tees.
But you couldn't do that back in the 80s because the technology really wasn't there. With the internet and social media and online marketing, anybody can go to Pro Wrestling Tees. Yeah, Pro Wrestling Tees. Boom, and buy some shirts. Yep. Like you can go get your favorite shirts. Even if you aren't going to a WWE show more than once a year, you can go on to shopwwe.com. And you can pick up some WWE shirts, and they've got you sign up, and all of a sudden you get a blast in your email. BOGO, buy one get one free. Yep. Well, yeah, I'll go pick up a couple of shirts. Why not? So it's just they've done a really good job of marketing All In. It's obviously sold out. And then, with the MSG Super Show, WrestleMania weekend, I saw some people were perpetuating the idea it wasn't an accomplishment to sell out MSG on WrestleMania weekend because it was WrestleMania weekend. I'm like, selling out MSG in general is an accomplishment. That's an arena. That's a big accomplishment.
It is not an accomplishment for WWE to sell out Madison Square Garden on WrestleMania weekend because it's the WWE
and they've done it.
It maybe wouldn't even be an accomplishment had they sold it out on Thursday night instead of against NXT. It may have been a less of an accomplishment, but they're going directly up against an NXT show. And NXT has sold out every WrestleMania that they've done an NXT takeover. They sold those out.
Takeovers are great, and it's a really hard decision to takeovers, especially WrestleMania weekend. The takeovers they've done have been out of this world.
I think it's an accomplishment in general that they're able to broadcast out of MSG because apparently it's too expensive for WWE to do it. So.
Well, you saw that reflective. It's not too expensive, but WWE they can get a better price going down to Barclays. Mm-hmm. So, which created a lot of this. They wanted to make more money, but you saw that reflective, I feel, in the Ring of Honor ticket prices, and worth $300 a pop. You knew they were going to be a little more because it's MSG, it's a super show, it's going to be. This will probably be
they're flying over so many Japanese.
This is going to be this is going to be the biggest Ring of Honor show ever. Yeah, it's a big deal. So we mentioned NXT a little bit.
I mean,
we got a takeover this weekend. I don't really want to. It feels like it's so up in the air. Like you're going to have some good content. Those are all going to be good matches, but it was definitely a letdown with the Black injury.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the card play out. And NXT, man, I'm telling you, man, watching an hour of wrestling in and out, nice tight, like it's nice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be watching that Saturday for sure. Because that product is just, I feel like it's going to be better than SummerSlam, even with the injury. So your mic is falling, Bob. You broke it.
I lifted it up like 30 seconds ago.
30 seconds ago. We might have to get the tools out and tighten that down. So, I know that we've got a few other things
all in to talk
about. So, this is what are the
it's pretty simple for All In this week. I mean, they only announced one match, and they also announced a tailgate party.
So
during our show, last week tickets went on sale.
The All Out party.
With Flip Gordon. And
Flip.
Apparently they sold out of said tickets during our show.
Well, Flip's doing fine without getting booked.
You can go to the next slide.
It's okay.
If you want to, yeah.
All right. Boom. Sold out. Look
is.
at that. Oh yeah.
So yeah,
this is a pretty big match they announced.
Yeah, the match is impressive.
You're gonna get to see some.
The way they announced it was so good.
Omega Pentagon, like I mean, whew, that could be really brutal.
Have you given in and watched Being the Elite yet?
No.
So you didn't get to see Kenny be like, all right, guys. So now that I got through this G1 and I'm healing, you guys can just. You're gonna put me in like a tag match or something, right? They're like, actually, no, we're tagging with Coda in a 6-man. You're gonna be in a singles match. What? No. Fine. I know you guys. You need to sell tickets. It's a big deal. They're like, we're sold out. And he's like, so I guess I can come in and wrestle some jobber at the start of the show for like an 15-minute match, whatever. And they're like, well, actually, you're in the main event. What? No, I draw the line there. Cody would never let me be in the main event. I don't know. Well, semi-main event. That's just as bad. Well, at least tell me who I'm wrestling. And then they show who it is, and they cut to a graphic, and then it cuts back to Omega, and he's looking all shocked, and he's like, what? The hardcore guy from TNA? And I'm like, oh my God, that's so awesome.
That's great.
Well, him and Coda are just there like exhausted because it was right after their match.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, that's really good.
That's gonna be a good match, man.
Yeah.
Pentagon and Omega, they're gonna mix it up. They'll probably be a little. I would imagine we're gonna see some juice of some sort, at least a little.
I don't think they booked juice.
Wrong. not that kind of juice, my friend. I think we're going to see a little bit of the Crimson Mask.
Yeah.
Maybe not ranking on the Muda scale or anything, but I think we're going to get a little bit of blood in that match.
I could see that happen.
Not anything crazy because those guys can just turn it on and go, but I think it'll add to it a little bit.
There's a lot of impact in New Japan stuff, man, like the Jericho cruise, and then the talk about Jericho
going to Impact.
Yeah,
rumor.
there's
like this Jericho going to Impact rumor, and how if he goes to Impact, they may be able to get a better TV deal. There was even a rumor flying around that not only was Jericho going to go to Impact, but like the Elite might go to Impact on some kind of exchange deal, and people were like throwing around Monday Night Wars all over. I'm like, take it down a notch.
Can you imagine if Ring of Honor in New Japan work out a deal to bring in a handful of Impact guys to
if they can work out a talent, if they can work out a talent swap or work out a way.
I mean,
they've
had Aries on ROH, and they've had Bone Soldier in New Japan now. So
could you imagine like an Aries Moose rematch for the Impact title at the Super Show?
Yeah,
like really piss Vince off.
Yeah,
like I mean,
it would let WWE do the thing they like to do best and pretend to be the ones who are being taken advantage of. All the other promotions are teaming up against us.
Woe is me.
We're the underdogs.
So helpless. You must support. No, bullshit. Nobody's believing that.
We're so helpless. It's not like we'd ever send someone a cease and desist over a hand gesture. Yeah.
I feel like now we're gonna get a cease and desist.
Yeah.
No, we're not big enough. It's okay.
Yeah. We give 0 Fs.
True story. Tamatanga style.
Yes.
We don't care. So, yeah, it's an exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
Sure,
because there's a lot going. Even like I know we talk about the WWE being lackluster, but there's just so much talent there. You do get good matches. Like I wish the storylines were better, but like I mean, you're still watching the product because the in-ring performance, because the guys on the roster are so damn talented. You're willing to watch it.
Yep.
Like that's saying something. Like how talented are those guys? You know, I mean. Top to bottom, that roster's never been deeper.
Yeah,
never.
A lot of people claim like, oh, well, the roster was never as good as it was in the Attitude Era, and I'm like, man, you look at the Attitude Era, there were some guys in that roster who were not good.
There were guys who were not really. I mean, you remember like so you figure what we're talking Attitude post Attitude. So I mean. Undertaker's I love Undertaker. Undertaker's WrestleMania matches for the first 10 matches were really not good.
Remember when he was supposed to take team with
Nathan Jones? I was just thinking of talking about terrible guy who looked the part and had a great story and then came over and couldn't wrestle a lick.
I mean they really should have took an opportunity to team him with Droz. I don't know. Droz may have already been injured, had neck injury at that point.
I'd have to go look at that.
The guy who lactates and the guy who pukes. I mean,
God,
that's a perfect tag team right there. Vince would love it.
He's gonna puke. He's gonna lactate.
Yeah,
it's right up Vince's 7-year-old
weird,
humor,
sick mind.
Like it's completely appropriate. No, man. The very top of the Attitude roster was loaded. Loaded. Like nobody will dispute that.
Your mid card and below
when you got down to the mid card, like let's not act like there was a lot of 4 and 5 star matches coming out of the mid card.
The Kane and Xbox matches for like ownership of like Tori. Stuff like that. Those weren't. I mean, both guys are good, but they weren't having 5-star matches or even like 4-star matches.
What am I? Who am I thinking of?
Val Venus versus Kai and Tai.
There you go.
Choppy
pee. No, I was thinking.
I wonder if Kai and Tai's who jumped Black backstage with and that's why he got testicular.
He got choppy pee.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you really choppy pee? Yeah, good old Kai and Tai. Oh my God. Yeah, let's not act like the mid card was full of like. The thing is I think people forget about it is because you at one point you had Stone Cold and The Rock feuding for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
And then, over top you had like Taker and Michaels and stuff. So people like automatically.
But that was still new generation at that point. I think they say the official Attitude Era started when it was Austin versus Michaels at WrestleMania.
But I think you can
Tyson.
I think you can lop all of that from when The Rock was The Rock and Stone Cold was Stone Cold until they those guys kind of went away. Early 2000s, like 2003, 2004 is when those guys started to, Stone Cold was.
They should have just called it the Austin era.
Yeah, really. But I think you can kind of put that together, and that's kind of what we classify as the Attitude Era. Technically, I think people are like, oh, it started Tyson. Like Tyson was the. Yeah. But I mean, it was those guys who were involved in the Attitude Era. Yep. But you go back and you look, there was the top 10 guys were amazing, but those mid carders, they were good and entertaining for what they were. And I'm not going to bag on them, but you weren't getting show-stealing matches out of, the Good Father, right to censor Good Father versus insert other person here. You'd have like Sexual Chocolate and D'Lo Brown versus the freaking Headbangers. Yeah, like really, you're like okay, it was just like even if you look back to like the WWF Warzone video game, like that was like center Attitude Era.
And like you had guys on that, like, you know, like the Headbangers, and you're like, really, like of the like dozen guys they have on their list of like top stars on this game, the like the Headbangers. Al Snow's head that you can unlock.
What does everybody want?
Yeah, I'm like, it just I don't know, like they didn't have the roster they do now.
Schnitzky kicking a baby.
Oh God!
I mean, like, come on, guys. Like,
it wasn't my fault.
It wasn't my fault. Let's not act like you got guys.
They should bring Schnitzky back, and then they could have him feud with Braun. And Braun will be like, "Get these hands," and Schnitzky can be like, "It wasn't my fault."
No,
they can scream at each other.
No. Like, no. There are a couple guys that I could believe coming back.
I should find a vintage Schnitzky shirt to wear on the show. This is
good luck with that.
I'm sure they're the thrift store somewhere.
Yeah, the internet again. The internet makes all sorts of things fantastic.
Well,
but
C2E2 is hosting a vendor mart at Starrcast, so I don't know what kind of crazy shit.
Oh man, that could be really good. But yeah, like people forget about that. Like, remember that barn burner that was Undertaker Giant Gonzalez?
Oh my God, yeah.
A guy that is so unbelievable. You have to dress him in a spandex muscle suit. Mm-hmm. The only thing he's got going for him, he's like 7'8" or whatever. He was just incredibly tall.
You know, everybody talks about how the Attitude Era was so adult and hard, you know, extreme and everything, and then you realize that they decided it was too extreme to have a Terry Funk versus Mick Foley death match, and instead put them in a dumpster match against the New Age Outlaws. And turn poor Terry Funk into Chainsaw Charlie. Yeah, there were still some trash gimmicks.
You know, we talked about gimmick changes that made careers, gimmick changes that did not help careers. That's one of them.
Mankind was a good one. Though, had he been Mason the Mutilator, it probably wouldn't have went in the same direction.
True, but going from legendary,
nor would Frosty McFreeze for Austin have worked out as well.
Legendary wrestler Terry Funk to Chainsaw Charlie, perhaps not a really good decision.
Hey, let's take the legendary wrestler and put some pantyhose over his face. That's a good idea.
Apparently, Vince watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre that week.
Yes.
I don't know, man.
Well, they got this new Halloween movie coming out. I'm waiting for somebody to wear a Michael Myers mask to the ring.
That's all it's going to take.
Yeah. Bludgeon Brothers getting repackaged again.
What's popular? Oh, my God,
Yep,
man.
one Bludgeon Brother is going to dress like the Predator, and the next one's going to dress like Michael Myers. Yep, that's their new gimmick.
That's the new gimmick. It's not that unbelievable.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Vince is gonna, they had that Teen Titans trailer come out. Vince probably seen that and is trying to talk the network and letting somebody drop an F-bomb. Come on, let one of our younger wrestlers drop an F-bomb. F Cena.
Oh my God! Yeah. All right, well, Bob, I feel like perhaps we've gotten off onto bad 90s gimmicks and stuff. I think that's a good place to kind of wrap things up.
We should mention what's coming here in the future, a new little show we're doing.
The unboxing?
Yes.
You just want me to put up your unboxing graphic.
Yeah, I do, because our friend Flipside23 at funktiondesign.com put that together for us.
There we go.
And we figured we got a High Spots box coming from All In, and I may have picked up some clearance items at the local Target store recently that we can unbox. They're like blind box deals, so we figured some added content would be nice.
Bob's a pretty prolific collector of memorabilia. I've got a few pieces.
Well, we just need more stuff for the table, yo.
Yeah, but your wrestling collection's pretty good. Like, I've got a couple of pieces
with the Hogan news and then the Punk news.
Yeah,
we probably getting full of people who are not very nice.
We have a racist and a guy who betrays his friends
twice. The two of those ones.
Over there, I didn't see double Punk.
Yep,
and then crappy Kenny Omega.
We got a very miniature sized Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Though in comparison, it might be life size compared to the other ones.
Did
you see him in Okada? Like face off in that 6-man.
No, I haven't watched
made
that yet.
Okada look huge.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, but there's a guy who looks great for his age. Is Ray?
Yeah.
Ray looks great, man.
Well, that's what happens when you start wrestling on TV at like 12.
Yeah, apparently.
Well, like legitimately at like I think he was like 18 when he started in WCW. So yeah.
Yeah. At some point, I think next week we should probably dive into the Mae Young Classic. We haven't even touched on it yet.
Yeah.
I'm behind on it. We should definitely cover it because there's a lot of interesting news going on there. There's already some injuries.
Yep.
I think
super unfortunate.
We'll wade into it head deep, just head first, and really catch up on it next week. Bob, I think I need to go buy a car. Like.
Yeah, you should probably handle that before the next podcast.
Which
so
sounds
start on time.
Which sounds way more adventurous than it really is. Like, man,
should get like a hearse and have it painted up.
I am not getting a hearse. I am not painting it up.
Ooh, you get a monster truck, put Stone Cold logos all over it.
No.
If you got a monster truck, maybe you could talk Medusa into being like your chauffeur.
Or maybe they'd let me take it up on top of Cobo Hall.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
good parking there.
No.
Monster truck, you always got somewhere to park.
Yeah, I suppose. So, all right, guys. So we're gonna call it there.
Ooh, a Zamboni.
All right,
we're in Michigan, man.
I'm not driving a Zamboni. So, all right. As always, share the video, like the video if you like it. Give us that big thumbs up. Subscribe, and don't forget to.
Superman punch the bell.
Superman punch the bell. Like, no, I don't. No. I would never tell anybody to. Superman punch the bell. It kick the bell. Yeah. Let's do some it kicks. Bob, again, if you want to get at us, the emails, the Twitter, all the best way. You got anything to say before I shut this bad boy down?
Looking forward to seeing what happens at SummerSlam, and I'm sure we will be bringing you the results next week.
Of course. So let's go ahead and super kick this button and get out of here.
Too sweet.